What's up, everybody? It's Sally Spectre here. And I did a part one to this video a long time ago, but I've noticed there's a lot of people, especially on people I'm talking to, who are getting into streaming and stuff, especially on Rumble. Use the referral code down below if you haven't signed up. But I really think Rumble is the future. They're pushing live streaming so hard right now, so it's a great time. But anyway, part one of this video I made a long time ago, so sorry if it's cringe, but it was reasons why I think people should start streaming. And now that people are coming on, finally listening to me, I did want to do a little addendum, a little part two, in that what are some downsides of being a content creator on Rumble, YouTube, Twitch, Kick, all that. And again, this is not going to be, very extensive advice here. Just a couple of words of warning, I guess, because, somebody called me a veteran streamer the other day because I had one video with 204,000 views. And let me tell you, that's the fastest that any little bit of 15 minutes of fame ever went to anybody's head. So now that I'm considered a veteran streamer here, I just wanted to give some little tips here. And the first word of warning, I'm going to start off. It's going to be A Plague's Tale, Requiem, Wo Long, and Fire Emblem Fates. And what do those all have in common? Those were, between last year and this year, the games I was most excited for that I've barely touched. I was so excited for all those games to come out. And just unfortunately, the desire to stream, Hogwarts Legacy also. So the desire to stream and show off what you love sometimes actually gets in the way of you loving it. Maybe people aren't as dumb as I am, but there's this desire to always be on camera, always be streaming. That's the ABCs of being a content creator, being, streaming, is always be communicating. So always talk when there's something going on, because by the time you notice that number go up that somebody's watching, they're already gone if you're not talking. And always be casting. Those are the two ABCs, right? So you always want to be casting, and it gets to the point where you're really worried if you should be streaming this, right? You're playing your favorite game on the side, but should you be streaming it? Is this a good time? Should you jump on? Should you just hit the go live button? And sometimes that little nugget in your head kind of prevents you from enjoying some stuff that you love always. I was playing A Plague's Tale. Again, I love the first one. A Plague's Tale, in a sense, was one of my favorite little hidden gems out there. And the first stream didn't go too great. Second stream didn't go too great. I didn't get that many views. And I was just like, okay, maybe I'll come back to it and I'll try it. I'll try and get the stream going again. Never did. Never went back because I moved on to the next game and next hustle of trying to find what are people going to watch. And that is kind of part of the problem also. I would say that the second thing is sometimes you do get a boom of success. Early on in my streaming career, as weird as to say, I really was pushed streaming Halo Infinite, and I loved it. At the time, I barely ever played Halo. But unfortunately, we all know with that game, it kind of died, right? So that success, I had 150 subscribers, which may not be a lot to the new champs out there. But for me, I went from 60 subs to 300 in just 2 or 3 months during the apex of that of Halo Infinite. And just a clump of sand in your hand just kind of falls out, and it's so demoralizing. So that's something to be worried about too. Just focus on what you love and kind of stay focused to it. Don't be like me. Don't learn from my mistakes. Don't bounce around. Don't play 2 streams of A Plague's Tale and 2 streams of Wo Long and 4 streams of Fire Emblem Fates. Actually, sit down, kind of hush the noise in your head, and if you have a streaming plan, stick to it, so people know what to go in, what to focus on, what they're going to see. And I've noticed when you do stream games, the episode 1 will always get more views than episode 7. So if you are streaming a series or something, expect that your viewership might go down because people want to go and experience it themselves. So don't let that dissuade you. Sometimes that happens, I know, in my personal experience. The earlier streams would do better than the later streams. So then you're like, should I keep doing it? Should I wait? Maybe it was a bad time slot, and then you put it on the hold, and then you just never come back to it. So don't do that. So another thing I want to say, the second big advice I would say is Gears of War for me. I promised after I did all of Halo, I promised I would play through all the Gears of War for my viewers, my fans. And I kind of hated Gears of War a little bit. It wasn't like a bad game necessarily, but I think it was really overhyped for me, and I was playing it on solo the entire time. Um, but I promised my viewers that I would play the entire series, which was brutal. So like when you get to so on the flip side of, you're not enjoying necessarily something that you love because of how you're setting yourself up, you could also be forced to play something that you're not going to enjoy. Now, just an advice, something I learned the hard way here is just you don't owe your viewers anything, and your viewers also owe you nothing. So pretty much just be yourself, play what you want to play what you want to make, the channel you want to make, and the audience that's applicable will come. Also on Gears, my third point. So despite me not really loving the Gears of War franchise, especially really just 4 and 5, that's the ones I really hated. But Gears 5, I had like a 4-hour stream of the end of the game, and I had somebody come in like the first hour or so, specifically wait till the very end, to the climax of the story, just to ruin it. It was weird. He sat there the whole time, sat on that nugget, and then just dropped a major spoiler. Boom. So if it's a game you legitimately are really wanting to experience, just be aware that is something that could come up. Not a huge deal. But it's it's annoying. So in a more serious note, there's also a real kind of danger to streaming. I've had 3 streamers that I know alone be doxxed, harassed, stalked, etc. So God forbid the real threat of swatting too. There's some real evil people out there, and while it's unlikely to happen to you, thank God, I believe firmly that majority of people in the world are good. You have to still really, arm your internet defenses the best you can. Take good care of your passwords. Don't show anything while on stream. Don't give out too much information about yourself on stream. Again, it's 99% sure nothing's going to happen. You're going to have a great time streaming, right? But you still wear a seatbelt when you go in the car outside. Just be mindful and be careful that it is a real possibility, and no amount of VPNs or antivirus will 100% protect you. It's just the nature of people online, right? Also on that note, you want to be careful of who you stream with. You don't want them to give if you could have your friends on with you, and they might give out more information than you'd want to. So you really want to tell people you're streaming with what's okay to talk about, what's not okay to talk about, kind of thing. Obviously this is Rumble, don't censor anyone, right? But you want to protect yourself and the people who are you're streaming with also. Also, when you're streaming with other people, not everybody's going to take the stream as seriously as you. Just because you believe it's a legitimate business path to pursue and it's your dream or whatever, doesn't mean everybody else will take it seriously. They might, just think of it as just playing video games with your friends and act differently. They might cough in the mic. They might, there's all these kinds of things that you're going to have to really iron out and decide before you go in. Because like if you're going for like a family friendly stream, you don't want to go full Modern Warfare 2 lobby on them, or you don't want your friends to do that, right? So you want to keep in mind your image, what you're going to talk about on stream, what's okay. So one thing that people do a lot is sometimes they'll bring their friends, and other times people will open up the lobby. Now I think opening the lobby can be great, but it can also be a train wreck, right? So I have a link in the description for when I streamed with Daestra last week. We had a phenomenal chat with randoms that just kind of slipped into her Discord server, and we were talking about like the implications of AI in art, right? We were talking about faith. We had two random people slip into their server, and we were moderating almost their theological debate, which was 100% respectful, and it was great. It was fantastic. Now, that's the exception, not the rule. Again, most of the time you don't have too much problems. The worst thing you'll usually run into is somebody with a bad mic or somebody who's not ready to play, and then your stream loses kind of momentum. But other times you get like what I had once was like a guy advocating for like, the furry community. So as a furry free household here, that wasn't my style. You could find that link probably somewhere. It was early on in my YouTube streaming career, something at Halo. So good luck. I think that's the worst prize at the end of a scavenger hunt, but I mean, go off. Just, be careful who you affiliate with on stream, because also, just because it's the internet, people are always going to be out for that clippable soundbite. Unfortunately, cancel culture is a thing. Which I want to get into in another video. That's something I just really grinds my gears. I will say, though, in regards to who you talk to, who you talk with on stream, it is very much easier to have a co-host. It's just, as I said, always be communicating. When you just sit there and talk and kind of dictate what's going on in a single player game, sometimes that could be very I don't want to say taxing, but I guess mentally taxing. It's just boring, monotonous. But if you have someone else, at least you'd have like conversations you could bounce off. You have a little more opportunity for funny moments, kind of thing. It very much helps to stream solo if you have an active chat, but sometimes when you're starting out, it's a little hard. So these are all things to consider, but just when you have someone else, just make sure it's someone you really click with and they know what you want, kind of thing. Also, just one other thing, people don't really realize that streaming is a different experience than playing video games, right? So you're not just turning it on and just, nobody's gonna really watch that, which some people just don't consider. All right, so my capture died, but there's a couple extra points I wanted to do here in post-production. One is you're going to get a lot of mean comments if you get feedback at all. So, right, you're going to get a lot of mean comments. You're going to get things like, this is why YouTube needs a dislike button. When you propose like a bug fix and it didn't work for that particular person, you're going to get people telling you you're trash, you're garbage, and making fun of how you look, whatever. And if that is difficult for you, this is probably not your gig. Just a little bit of tough love here. You got to have a little bit of a tough skin if you're going to be, putting yourself out to the public, because sometimes most people aren't, but sometimes there are awful people. On the flip side of getting mean comments, you also get a wild bit of lack of feedback, actually, which is I think more frustrating. When you go on a stream, you could be streaming for like 3 hours, right? And it won't be till like 2 hours and 45 minutes that somebody will come out, and maybe one of your boys will come into your chat and be like, hey, your mic's a little low. So for the past like 2.5 hours, people were coming in and leaving without telling you that your mic was a little quiet. So that's something that you just kind of have to learn to live with, unfortunately, and really just, check all your boxes before you start going live, because unfortunately, if people don't like what they see, they just leave immediately. There's no like constructive criticism, no like heads up, your bit rate's really low. Heads up, your stream is lagging. So if you ever find yourself just in the future and you find yourself about to click off because of something small like that, make sure you tell the streamer. Most people would be wildly receptive. You get some that are just going to be cranky about it, but the criticism. But again, if you have not really a thick skin, it's not. This is really is not the game for you. And then the last thing I want to say is, even if you get like the smallest modicum bit of success, I'm talking like you get 10, like 15 followers, you'll have people with 10 followers that are trying to, self promo spam in your videos, in your Discord, your anything. I understand why a lot of people are tempted to just like delete those, and if they're malicious links, obviously, but follow for follow doesn't really work, so it doesn't really bother me that people ever do things like that. And it's always hard. People just kind of do that in the beginning of their content creation journey, and it's important to grow yourself and put yourself out there, trying to get in front of the right audience, but don't just spam your stuff in random people's chat. It's just kind of a waste of your time, because people don't really necessarily go to, a gameplay video and then scroll down into the comments and see your Rumble link and think, or, and think that's what they want. That's not what they're looking for. So it's just a waste of time. But there we go. That's my quote unquote veteran streaming advice. I hope it helps people, and let me know if it did. If you haven't started making a Rumble account yet, use my referral code down below. Helps me out. And any other advice, any other questions you guys have, be sure to post it in the comments below. I'd love to help you guys out. I've already helped like 7 or 8 people set up their Rumbles and get started. I just love seeing more people streaming. I love people pursuing their dreams, and I think Rumble is a great place to do it. So I'm Soundwave Spectre, guys, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.